Good evening. 10 years ago, reservoirs could have been a relatively good way in helping to stabilize water rate increases, but I strongly believe we missed that opportunity. It is becoming ever more apparent around the world that people need to be more conscientious about water conservation. Rochester Hills is doing nothing to reduce water usage. In fact, we encourage it with the use of outside area maintenance meters. At the very least, there should be a surcharge for their use or some type of prorated billing. The two main reasons that DWSD fights us on the rates are, one, the use of these area maintenance meters. Rochester Hills is probably the only community using them. And two, Rochester Hills does not have every other day of watering stipulated in our watering ordinance, although it is a policy the city has been using over the last couple of years. Rochester Hills needs to address these things and renegotiate the rate with DWSD. Per the consultant's report, we could save almost $2 million by reducing our contracted max day from 51.91 to 40. Rochester Hills hasn't been at 51.91 since 1998. So, why aren't we adjusting our ordinance and eliminating the AM meters? Why aren't we negotiating for a lower max day rate? Why are we oversizing the reservoirs to 2 3-million-gallon tanks versus the original 2 2-million-gallon tanks? Why are we proposing to sell water to Oakland Township and Rochester? Why are we not asking them to share in the cost of building these reservoirs? Why did Nowicki Park become the site of the Northwest Reservoir when Tinkin property next to Adams High School had been the previous discussed site? Why was the payback presented as 2 to 3 years versus the more like 10 years it will take? The consultant's final report leaves a lot to be desired. In fact, 34 of the 36 pages is a primer in describing the potential savings a community can obtain by reducing its max day demand. It does not provide potential cost for, it did provide potential cost for constructing both reservoirs, not including engineering costs, debt costs, etc. It is certainly not a rock-solid business model for spending almost $20 million. Where are the minutes from the tech meetings? Not all of council nor the public has any knowledge of what was discussed at the two meetings. Where is the Phase 1 report from the consultant? Discrepancies between the reports were discussed at the January 26th tech meeting. There are major cost discrepancies between this consultant's report and prior reservoirs reports from Arcadis. Why has the Water and Sewer Tech Committee met only twice on this project? Once on January 13th prior to the January 18th initial presentation to council, and a second time January 26th. Unfortunately, I cannot cover all my comments, concerns, and questions pertaining to this matter in 3 minutes. I know that you definitely have not spent the necessary time discussing this issue either. It's almost criminal for council to move forward in spending what will be almost $20 million in water and sewer customers' money in such a limited discussion. Rochester Hills is the 8th lowest water rates and the 26th lowest sewer rates of any community served by DWSD. At the very least, council needs to hold some well-publicized workshop sessions to further discuss the pros and cons of constructing reservoirs, and the public should be given ample opportunity to participate. You have not convinced the people that you have a good grasp on this issue, nor the spending of nearly $20 million on reservoirs as a smart thing to do. I have spent more time researching and discussing this the 10 years that I sat on council than you have in the last 3 months.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Belinda, I'm going to have a real tough time following you. Scott Beaton, 655 Bowling Street. Marty, you're a smart guy. Please don't put words in my mouth. Got the last citizen's comments. I stated that I'm 100% against building a water tower, or water tank actually, on John R. I didn't say I was 100% in favor of building water tanks. The more I've read about this and the more I hear from people like Melinda, this isn't a good idea tonight to move forward. I asked the same questions. Why was the original proposal for 2 2 million gallon tanks, and now it's 3 million gallon tanks. I mean, if the idea is actually to sell it to Oakland Township, or the idea is to sell it to Rochester, then bring them in. Rochester and Oakland Township are incredibly well-run cities. They have incredibly higher residential property values for their homes than the city of Rochester Hills. I mean, they got a lot of smart people in those towns. If you want to talk to them about building water facilities, talk to them. Maybe they think this is a good idea and they'd like to join in on the cost. Next thought. I spent 9 years on city council, and not to discredit Mayor Brian Barnett and his staff, mayors come up with dumb ideas all the time. I hate to be so blunt. I mean, that's why we host city council, and that's why we have a mayor. It's supposed to be some kind of form of checks and balances here. Billy Ireland wanted to buy a gigantic park in Oakland Township. We all told her that was a dumb idea. We thought our park should belong in Rochester Hills. Nathan, as your council representative in District 4, I fought my fanny off to get Bloomer Park built. Borden Park built. I mean, that was a tough sell. I mean, District 4 already had Bloomer Park, already had Thelma Spencer Park. Why would we want to build another one in District 4? Borden Park. But I fought hard for my district representatives, and instead of buying land in Auburn Hills, we built that park. Billy Ireland wanted to buy some defunct industrial building on Hamlin Road and turn it into a community center. Yet again, a bad idea. I mean, Mike Hardner needed baseball fields, so we told her it was a bad idea. Ken Snow wanted to build some kind of triangle-shaped, weird octagon entranceway to Rochester Hills City Hall. It was a bad idea. Again, tonight, as I continue to review this proposal to build water tanks, this is a bad idea coming from the mayor's office tonight. And you guys really need to slow down and review this idea and not build these water tanks or make a decision to build water tanks tonight or proceed with the engineering. Finally, Nathan, and I'll be real fast, sir, I'm sorry. But finally, Nathan, I spent my Sunday before the Super Bowl going door to door and knocking and telling all the people on John R. that this city is temporarily proposing to build this tank in a residential, beautiful neighborhood on John R. I went over and I talked to the people who live in the mobile home park, Nathan. When I was council representative, I thought it was real damn important that I went and told the residents about a mayoral bad idea. You won. You don't have to be Brian Barnett's BFF for life anymore. You're on city council. You need to be down there. You need to be telling the residents that this water tank will totally destroy their property values. And you need to really honestly, if you want to be my council representative, because Brian Barnett does not live in my district, but if you want to be my council representative, you need to pass a resolution tonight with your peers saying that you will never